All right, hopefully got everything set up properly. Give me 1 minute. Let me double check this. What they talking about? Like boom, 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 boom. How we get there? All right, let me see. Can you hear me? Yes, sir. All right, so I believe I got everything set up properly, man. We're gonna be playing this game and going over a little content. I was watching what was it? Fig Munity, and they had Flakko on there recently, and he was talking a little spicy. A lot of people like to say he was popping it, which, I guess you can, I can agree with. I don't really agree with. Hold on, let me change this volumes. I don't want the game to be overbearing my voice or these videos I'm gonna be watching, so let me cut it down a little bit. Okay, do a little more, a little more. All right, still pretty. I don't want the gain too low though, so where I can't hear, if I gotta deal with. Alright. What are the sounds? Can it be music, footsteps, volume? Eating, drinking. I don't think that'd be too loud. Sound effects. But yeah, he was talking crazy, man. I'm not too familiar with, his material as far as like his channel. I honestly only know him from No Jumper. I thought he was just a dude on No Jumper that Adam hired, to make some content. Not a big fan of him or even academics, to be honest. I feel like both of them. Well, before I even get into that, WWN TV, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, tell some friends to tell some friends to tell some friends, and then tell them friends to tell some more friends. You feel me? What's the disclosure? Fair use disclaimer. This is for educational purposes, for me to educate myself and the masses. You feel me? So, don't flag my page or anything for these videos and content that I will be using. In the meantime, hopefully that clears up everything, man. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. I know TikTok is a little, I don't want to say a little sensitive, but I feel like they be ODing on a lot of stuff when it comes to, I guess, other people content. Been a couple of times where I was on here, and I don't know if it's just like that with music. I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of TikTok and how that operates. But I played a little. It was a little snippet. Had my because of the content, which I wasn't too familiar with, but we're gonna get back to the topic on hand. Back to Flakko. So he was on Fig Community. Talking crazy, talking about Tupac, which I think is crazy because he was talking like people gave Tupac this King of the West title, which I'm not familiar with. I don't really recall anybody calling Tupac like the King of the West. Maybe like one of them, or maybe just like one of the biggest rappers, or most popular rappers at the time. But as far as like a King of the West, I don't understand where he got that from. So I think it's and that's my issue when it comes to him and academics. They have these or they get on these platforms. Academics has his own platform, and Flakko does too, but I'm only familiar with them from No Jumper. But they get on their streams or whatever, and just be talking crazy about hip hop culture. To me, which in itself, is I don't really, I'm starting not to like that term, because I feel like people use it to try to box in quote unquote Black American or FBA culture, and to me it's completely different things. I think hip hop culture is a part of Black culture, FBA culture, and also just a part of American culture in itself. It's one of the most popular music genres in America. It's predominantly dominated by Black people, and they just try to make it seem like hip hop culture is this all-encompass thing of Black culture, which that's just it's just a part of Black culture. Like soul food is a part of Black culture. It's not, it doesn't define or Black culture. It's a part of the culture. Same with hip hop. The way we dress, it's a part of Black culture. It's not, all encompass of Black culture, because we got a bunch of different ways we dress in quote unquote the culture. So I don't know. I don't really like when people try to put hip hop as this all encompassing thing of the Black community, Black Americans, FBA, whatever you want to refer to it as. So that's my issue when it comes to that. But back to what he was saying about Tupac and everything. He was just talking about how Tupac ain't even really from the West Coast, and he came to California popping it, and basically took over, which is true. Tupac, I was young when he came out, but he's still relevant, today. But Tupac is a big figure in hip hop. Died at 25, not only because of his death, but just the impact he had on music at such a young age and in that short span of time, I think is what a lot of people fail to understand when it comes to Tupac. Like he died when he was 25, if I'm not mistaken. Dropped some of the most impactful albums, some of the most impactful songs. Brenda's Got a Baby, Dear Mama. Like a lot of his songs and influence, still resonates today. So it's not just him coming to California, but it's the impact he had with music and entertainment. you know what I mean, at such a young age. I think a lot of people, you know, fail to understand that when you know, talking about her. But I think him coming to California changed his perspective on the music industry and just what was going on in, you know what I mean, a lot of our communities. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Baltimore, was born in Baltimore, you know what I mean, moved to New York, you know what I mean, he stayed in New York for a while, for some time, and then he came to California in, I want to say maybe his early 20s. You know what I mean? I don't know how early, but I want to say early 20s. He died at 25, so that says a lot. You know what I mean? If he comes to you know, a different state